Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a transition. In my opinion, this is probably one of the easiest and best ways to do it. It looks really good, professional, nice, clean, and obviously it's very simple that you won't notice. And obviously, if you can pull off a transition so well that the viewer doesn't notice it, then you've done your job well. That's the goal of it. You want to create a somewhat seeming transition without it being very obvious. As you can see here, I have my first clip, and then it cuts straight into the second one. It's not very nice, so we're gonna try and change that. So obviously, firstly, you want to press new item, and then create an adjustment layer. And then obviously, you don't have to fiddle with this because it should just be the same as your base layer, and then just slap it over the top. Go on to effects, and then just search push. Now this is obviously going to be your video transition, and you want to put it right in the dead center between both of your clips. That's only just for me. Don't worry about that. That shouldn't pop up for you. But obviously, I want to go over to it, and I want to make it around 11 frames long. So I'm just going to drag this long down to 11, slap it in the middle, and now we're going to want to obviously, make our adjustment layer a lot smaller, because boy oh boy, it's huge. So let's make this a lot smaller. You want to make it roughly around the same size. You can fiddle with the length after. So there we go. Okay, well, once you've done this, you want to come onto here and search Directional Blur. Mine went blank. So drag that onto the top. Now, obviously, you want to head back onto editing. Now, this will bring up your somewhatly timeline for this. So now let's bring this up. Click on it. And now we can bring this back. So this is going to be obviously the point of this. So we want to come on to blur direction. Now I'm just going to set this at 90. Obviously this is going to be on the angle that it transitions or wipes to somewhat. So whether you go from 90, 180, 270, 360, stuff like that, that's the degree angle that you're going to want to change. So obviously at the start, you're going to want to keep it at 0. And you want to come to the middle, right in the middle of the transitions. You want to activate one, step it there, and then change this to around 150-ish. Change any number that you really like. As you can see, it's now all black. Now I'm going to set, you're going to want to set one at the start and one at the end. But obviously you're going to want to make them 0. So, but it's not going to be blurry throughout the whole thing. So 0. Every time you do put in a new number, it will create a new point. So now, as you can see, that's already a lot better. There you go. Now, next thing you want to do. Now, next thing which I'm going to suggest to do is obviously when you are in the mid transition, as you can see, it is there's like some shadows and some like blackness around the corners. Obviously, this may change depending on the scenery of your things, but in my opinion, as you can see, there's already some shadow. So if you want to head on back onto the effects tab, give it a second to load. Then you want to search transform. There we go. Now, make sure you spell it right. Transform, as you can see, there it is. Drag that onto the adjustment layer. Here it is. Now, obviously, you're going to want to change the scale. Go back onto editing. You have scale. That. Got a point in the middle. And you're going to want to set a point in the middle. You can delete that point. One in the middle. And then one at the end. Now the one in the middle, you're going to want to somewhatly change to around maybe like 120, 115-ish. I'm just going to set it at 118 because, no point being that perfect. There you go. As you can see, if you don't know what that does, it pretty much will slightly zoom it in. So it gets rid of all of that corner. You can see it slightly zooms in and zooms out very small and simple that, it's not really obvious to tell. And that's your transition pretty much. But obviously, one thing that you can change, obviously, is the time period of it. So you can expand it. You can make it slightly longer, slightly shorter. So obviously, the blur has time to build up. But obviously, one thing that you're going to want to do is, get your clips. So obviously, I have my sound here. can obviously just, you know, find the right sound. So I'm just going to play this, find which sound I like. I like this one. So I'm going to come over to this, get it right in the peak point, and you can obviously use these. They do have, you know, keybinds as you can press C, boom, boom, and you can just go back onto the mouse. If you don't want to know what the keybind is for mouse, it's V. Obviously, learning keybinds will help you out a lot with editing. That is probably one of the things which will help speed up all of your editing processes and, you know, getting everything perfect. So obviously you want to have the peak at the point of the transition. That is obviously where the sound will be. So, you know, as you can see, I can see the peak. So I'm going to drag it on slightly and have it there. So now let's watch it back. As you can see, there we go. It somewhatly works and is pretty, you know, easy to see. So now let's watch this back. There you go. Obviously, with sound, it will be slightly different. You've obviously got your game sound, anything like that. That man was moved. It will completely cut it. It will change the audio. It won't just be a massive jump. It won't be anything tragic. It's pretty simple, pretty clean, and it can be obviously a big difference. If you do want to find out how to get sound effects, you can just search them up on YouTube. Go on YT to MP3 converter, paste the link in, and then download it, and then you can obviously just change it up. You can, you know, right click and edit subclip, stuff like that, and you can change the things. You can do all sorts like this. You can mess around with the different keybinds, find whichever sound best fits you, change around with the distance and the length of the things, stuff like that. I feel like that this is slightly too long, so I'm going to shorten it down, maybe 1 or 2, get it perfect. Shorten this slightly to maybe 1 or 2 off of it, like that. Now I feel like it's ready. There we go. It's clean. It's, you know, it's pretty quick. Not something you're going to notice. And one of the biggest things which I would suggest is probably to just copy and paste it. That will save you so much time having to reapply it, recopy it, all sorts of stuff like that. You can just copy and paste it. Obviously, you can just redrag the adjustment layer, just change the sizing, and then add the sound effect as well as the push. The push is really simple. Just search up push in the effects tab, slap it on, adjustment layer, blah, blah, blah. It's very simple, very quick. Or you could just copy and paste it and get that done with. Create, you know, a couple layers and you can just select, copy, and paste it. But firstly, you know, get all your clips in line, and that's all it is. If this video was useful, make sure to drop a like and comment any other tips and tricks you want me to teach you guys on our, you know, Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'll see you all in the next one.